For both Paragus and Broly to win, the easiest place to start is when Broly attacks Goku in the night. Normally, Goku somehow senses Broly coming even though he was asleep, so he woke up and dodged his attack. So, if Goku didn't wake up in time, Broly would have killed him there, since he was trying to pierce him through the chest. Though when Paragus eventually finds this, he would have to cover this up so that the other heroes didn't find out, which he had no problem covering something like this up, since everything he has been doing on this planet so far has been an elaborate ruse. The next day, Paragus would still be trying to convince Vegeta to stay, as he says they must found the Legendary Super Saiyan, though he would also be facing the daunting task of convincing the heroes that Goku's out searching for the Legendary Super Saiyan, as he just disappeared last night. This is when Krillin, Trunks, and Gohan bring the slaves they freed back with them, as they identify Broly as the one who attacked their planet. Paragus reveals to them why he brought them there, but since Goku isn't there, Broly doesn't rampage into his Legendary Super Saiyan form. Instead, Paragus will order him to fight the heroes, as he turns into his restricted Super Saiyan form, which, even with him not being in his Legendary Super Saiyan form, he would be able to defeat the heroes one by one. Vegeta would likely be too scared to attack him as usual, so Gohan, Trunks, and Krillin would fight him. Before he could finish off Gohan, Piccolo would arrive, but he would be beaten down as well. There'd likely still be a moment where Piccolo tries to talk sense into Vegeta, so he ends up attacking Broly, though it's to no avail. With all the heroes beaten down, Broly would easily kill all of them, including Roshi and Oolong, who were also on the planet. From there, Paragus would use the remote control to calm Broly down, which it works this time, since Goku isn't around to anger Broly. In the movie, Paragus mentioned that he wanted to take over the Earth and re-establish Saiyan dominance. So, after the heroes are defeated, Paragus and Broly would head towards Earth together. Once there, they would easily take out the remaining heroes and take over the planet. Paragus would then send some type of broadcast around the world to gather any remaining Saiyans, so that he could re-establish Saiyan dominance like he wanted to. He would also use Broly along with the other Saiyans to conquer planets, so that they could expand to other worlds. Anyway, with him making himself the next Saiyan King, and the eventual Emperor after they conquer more planets, he would remain the Emperor up until he dies, which is when Broly would become the next Emperor since he's Paragus' son. But Paragus likely would have something set up that would be able to restrict Broly's bursts of anger after he was gone. So, because of this, Broly wouldn't be too bad of an Emperor since his anger would be under control. Like with the other chapters about a Saiyan becoming a King or Emperor, Broly might have a family of his own eventually. Regardless, no one would be able to challenge Broly for the throne since he is the Legendary Super Saiyan. Now, for a chapter where Broly wins without Paragus being involved, we start with his fight against the heroes before Piccolo arrived. Broly easily had many chances to kill the heroes, but he usually just rendered one of them immobile to move to the next one on purpose. So, in this timeline, he decides to kill them before moving on to fighting the next hero. Trunks is the first one to fall at the hands of Broly. Gohan then tried to attack him next, to no avail, so he was killed too. Goku would then attack Broly, but even he is killed by the Legendary Super Saiyan. This is when Piccolo arrives, but he wouldn't stand a chance against Broly either, so he is killed too. Without Piccolo being there to talk any sense into Vegeta, he would eventually be found by Broly and killed, since he didn't put up a fight. Even Roshi and Oolong would be killed since they were on that planet too. At some point, it's likely Broly would have noticed Paragus trying to escape on his own, so he would have crushed him in the space pod as per usual. After the heroes and Paragus were killed, Broly would likely leave the planet before the comet Komori destroyed it. Afterwards, he would continue his rampage across the universe, since in the movie, they implied that Broly would eventually destroy the universe in his lifetime, though he also might follow through on his late father's goal of making the Earth his next home planet, but I don't see him restarting the Saiyan race, so that might be the only planet spared from his destruction. Over time, he would eventually destroy the other galaxies in the universe, like how he destroyed the South Galaxy. After they were destroyed, there wouldn't be anyone else for him to fight, since he likely wiped out the inhabitants of Earth, so he would live a solitary and peaceful life on Earth, assuming nothing threw him into fits of rage. This chapter is based around the movie Broly, Second Coming. For Broly to win in it, his fight with Goten and Trunks goes the same, up until the time Gohan normally arrives. Broly was about to finish the two off, but Gohan arrived at the last second and used a blast to save them. This time, Gohan is too late, so Goten and Trunks are both killed by Broly's blast. Though, Gohan's battle with Broly would go the same until the very end, when he was using his Kamehameha to try and push back Broly's Omega Blaster. Without Goten there to help her wish for his father to be there, Gohan couldn't do anything, since he wouldn't know about the Dragon Balls being there. So, Broly's Omega Blaster would overpower Gohan's Kamehameha, thus killing him. Though, this likely destroys the Earth too, since in the movie Goku mentioned something about the planet being destroyed if they didn't stop this blast. Anyway, this means Videl and Krillin are killed when the planet explodes, since they were also on the battlefield, though all the other heroes are killed too. As for Broly, he would likely survive this and drift off into space, which I could see him becoming trapped in ice again as he floats through the void of space. So, the rest of this timeline is surprisingly peaceful compared to the previous one, as Broly is trapped in ice and can't escape. For Bio Broly to win, the movie would go the same up until he was about to kill Android 18 the first time. Normally, Krillin arrives and saves her at the last second, but this time Bio Broly blasts and kills her right before Krillin arrives. So, when Krillin does arrive, he would see this and attack Bio Broly out of anger. However, he would meet a similar fate too, and would die at the hands of the Saiyan clone. Without Krillin and 18 there to help Goten and Trunks, the two young boys would be beaten down and killed too. Since Trunks never would have blasted the final tank letting out the remaining culture fluid, Bio Broly never turns into his giant form mixed with the culture fluid. However, as for what Bio Broly does from here, it's hard to say. He could either go on a rampage and get into a fight with some of the other heroes, like Vegeta and Piccolo, or he could just destroy the Earth. It's hard to say if he could defeat some of the heroes like Vegeta in a battle, since we never see their powers in comparison to each other. So, for the sake of this timeline of having Bio Broly win, I'm going to say he destroys the Earth while he was rampaging. This would kill all the remaining heroes when the planet explodes, but Bio Broly likely survives the explosion. We don't know if the Bio Warriors need air to survive, but if they don't, Bio Broly wouldn't die in a vacuum of space. He might go on a rampage and attack other planets, but I don't know if he would, since this rampage seemed to be caused by seeing Goten. Anyway, without him rampaging across the universe, he would just float throughout space for eternity.